Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is Banzai Sky, and as promised, this is my father, and I'm going to ask him a few questions regarding the history of Palestine and his personal experience in Palestine and the aftermath of what happened in 48. Okay. Now, Dad, I did let them know. I mean, we got up to the point where, you guys left the home. You have, how many brothers and sisters do you have? Just tell the viewers.
I have a total of 7 brothers, including myself, and 3 sisters.
Okay. And I got them up to the point.
I'm the youngest of the brothers.
You're the youngest. Okay. You're the youngest in the family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, in 48, we know that you left with your father, your mother, and your siblings. Can you tell us what happened after you guys actually left the home? What happened from there?
Actually, they took us to the the east side of Jordan River, a place called Karame, and the United Nations built tents for all the refugees who came from Palestine. So we stayed there for approximately 2 years in Karame, and we were in a tent provided by United Nations.
Now, were there a lot of people there?
It was a large number of people. I think it was about 300,000 people in there. It was very crowded, very little facilities. It was tough time. In the summer, the heat, it's just incredible. Like it's about 100 degrees or more Fahrenheit.
Now,
so it was very warm in the summer.
Right.
It's fine in the winter, but we stayed in tents for approximately 2 years by Jordan River.
Now, before even all of that, now you mentioned something to me that the Jordanian government promised that they would take care of the issue. You mentioned there was some type of vacuum that had occurred when the Jews came in. They were supplied all the weaponry from the British, and actually all of the Arabs in that area, they had taken away any type of weaponry that they had actually obtained. Is that correct?
That is correct. They basically were. The British had a policy of disarming any Palestinians. You cannot even carry a knife. And they were allowing the Jews to be armed, and they were armed to the teeth. And so when the British withdraw, there is a huge vacuum, and there is basically the unarmed civilians of the Palestinians, and they were fully armed Zionists who came in and basically occupied that land, which they were basically prosecuted, and they were leaving Europe because of the persecution. So
what happened at Dar Yassin? I know you mentioned that to me some time ago. What actually happened, and what caused the fear of the Arabs at that time that they decided to leave their homes where they were and then never being able to return?
There's a few groups of the Jewish groups that basically they went and massacred people in their villages, and the famous one is Dar Yassin. That's one of the villages that is very famous for that. And they massacred a lot of Palestinians in their homes, civilians, which basically put big fear in the civilian population. So, the parents and the families were thinking, I'm going to save my family until things settle down, so I'm going to basically take them away
so they went to
from
Karama
the war
from there?
zone, going into the United Nations camp.
Right. So now the Jordanian government had a play in this, correct? They actually told the Palestinians, go ahead, leave your homes, we'll take care of this, and when this all dies down, you'll be able to return?
That's the Jordanian army, but the Jordanian army was run by called Globe Basha, which is basically a British running the army for the Jordanians. So it wasn't actually Jordanian run. And as well as some other Arab soldiers came in from Egypt and from other countries which Egypt was run by a King Farouk at that time, and they said, we will go ahead and liberate Palestine. You guys can go and leave and stay in Jordan until it's all done. And some other Palestinians did go to Syria, Lebanon, as well as Egypt. A lot of them went to
as well as Jordan,
Gaza.
right? There's like 70% of Jordan are Palestinians.
That is true. It's about 70% of Jordan population before the Iraqis arrived lately. It used to be Palestinian origin, yes. Came in from Palestine.
Now, what happened though once these Palestinians left their homes, some by force and some by their own free will, thinking that they were going to come back to their homes after things have settled down? Were they able to even find their homes if they were able to get back? What happened to those homes?
Jordan kept the West Bank. The creation of Israel kept our village, which Al-Walaja, and which basically it is just west of Bethlehem, just basically between Bethlehem and Jerusalem. That was taken by the Israelis. So a lot of the Walaja refugees went to Bethlehem. Some of them went to Jordan, and actually the majority went to Jordan. So
most of it, like a lot of the homes were actually destroyed, right? Even before they would even get back.
Well, when we left, actually, assuming that we will be back within 30 days or so, the house was secured and it was locked and the key was brought with them, so hoping that within the next 30 days or so the war will be settled and we'll go back to our homes. But unfortunately, when my father went and was able to see our town from Bethlehem, and he looked at it and he found that our house was fully destroyed. And a lot of villages were destroyed, so you have just nothing but the ruins of those villages.
So they were in a way trying to remove the Palestinians and to have them never really come back, so they'd have nothing to come back to begin with, and that's when the Zionists would start to populate the area.
That is exactly what happened.
Okay. Now, from there, actually at that point, were there a lot of Jews in Palestine prior to the Zionists coming in?
Yes, we did. We have Arab Jews, we have Christian Jews, we have Arab Jews, we have Christians, we have Muslims, and
so they were all getting along.
Absolutely, we're living in peace and harmony. We had no problem whatsoever. Actually, it's a Muslims holiday celebration. Everybody celebrated. The Christians the same thing, and the Jews the same thing. If it's a Jewish holiday, we go and visit our neighbors and